Do Not Play. As a film student, Emma had spent countless hours poring over archived footage in the school's film department. But one day, as she sifted through boxes of old reels, she stumbled upon something that caught her eye. A dusty, forgotten film canister with the label "Do Not Play." Curiosity getting the best of her, Emma took the reel back to her editing suite and threaded it into the projector. As the flickering images played out before her, she felt a chill run down her spine. The footage was dark and grainy, but she could just make out a group of people gathered in what appeared to be a dimly lit basement. As the scene unfolded, Emma realized that something was off. The people in the footage seemed to be acting strange, almost as if they were possessed. She watched in horror as one of the people suddenly convulsed and began to speak in a guttural voice that was not their own. Emma's mind raced as she tried to make sense of what she was seeing. Could this be some kind of elaborate prank or student project? Or was there something truly sinister at play? Determined to get to the bottom of the mystery, Emma began to investigate the source of the footage. She combed through the archives and interviewed faculty members who had been at the school for decades, but no one could shed any light on where the film had come from or who had created it. As Emma dug deeper, she began to experience strange occurrences herself. She would wake up in the middle of the night to find the projector running on its own, or hear eerie whispers coming from the editing suite. She even started to have nightmares about the people in the footage, feeling as though they were reaching out to her from beyond the grave. Despite her growing fear, Emma refused to give up on her quest for the truth. She spent long hours poring over the footage, looking for any clues that might help her solve the mystery. Finally, after weeks of painstaking work, she stumbled upon something that made her blood run cold. Hidden in the background of one of the shots was a faint image of a figure that had not been visible before. It was a dark, shadowy presence that seemed to be lurking just beyond the reach of the camera's lens. Emma's heart raced as she realized that this was the source of everything that's been happening to her. With a newfound sense of urgency, Emma gathered all of the information she had collected and presented it to the film department's faculty. They were shocked by what they saw and immediately launched an investigation of their own. As the investigation continued, Emma began to feel a sense of unease. She couldn't shake the feeling that something dark and dangerous was lurking just beneath the surface of the school's film department. And then, one night, as she was working late in the editing suite, something strange happened. The projector flickered to life, but instead of the footage from the haunted film reel, a new image appeared on the screen. It was Emma. Behind her, a dark, shadowy presence. Forbidden fruit. Once upon a time, in ancient China, there was a young scholar named Liang. He was known for his intelligence and quick wit, but he was also known for his adventurous spirit. One day, as he was traveling through the countryside, he came upon a beautiful garden that belonged to a powerful warlord. The garden was unlike any he had ever seen before, with exotic flowers and plants that he had never seen before. As he was admiring the beauty of the garden, a voice behind him said, "You should not be here." Liang turned around to see an old man with a long white beard. "Why not?" he asked. "This garden belongs to the warlord. He does not take kindly to trespassers," the old man replied. Liang shrugged off the warning and continued to explore the garden. As he wandered through the garden, he came upon a beautiful woman who was sitting by a pond. She was dressed in a flowing silk robe, and her hair was long and dark. "Who are you?" he asked. "I am Mei Ling, the daughter of the warlord," she replied. Liang was immediately entranced by her beauty and intelligence. They spent hours talking, and Liang felt like he had known Mei Ling his entire life. As the sun began to set, Liang realized that he had been in the garden for far too long and that he needed to leave before the warlord found him. But as he turned to leave, Mei Ling grabbed his arm. "Please, Liang, do not go. Stay with me." Liang was torn between his love for Mei Ling and his duty to leave the garden before he was caught. He knew that if the warlord found him, he would be punished severely. But he could not resist Mei Ling's beauty and charm, and he stayed with her. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. Liang and Mei Ling were happy together, but Liang began to notice that there was something strange about the garden. The flowers never wilted, and the trees never lost their leaves. It was as if time had stood still in the garden. One day, Mei Ling confided in him the truth about the garden. My father made a deal with a powerful sorceress to create this garden. In exchange for her help, he promised her his firstborn child. Liang was horrified. That is why time does not pass here. We are trapped in this garden forever. Mei Ling nodded sadly. But there is a way out. You must defeat the sorceress and break the spell. Liang knew that he had to do the right thing, even if it meant losing Mei Ling forever. He set out to find the sorceress, and after a long and difficult journey, he finally found her. The sorceress was a formidable opponent, but Liang was determined to break the spell. With his quick wit and intelligence, he was able to outsmart her and break the spell. Time began to move again, and the garden slowly began to wither and die. Liang returned to the garden, but Mei Ling was nowhere to be found. He searched for her everywhere, but could not find her. Heartbroken, Liang realized that he had chosen his duty over his love, and he would never see Mei Ling again. As he was about to leave the garden, the old man with the long white beard appeared before him. You have done a great service to our people, Liang. You have broken the sorceress's spell, and now our land can thrive again. But remember, duty and honor must always come before love. Liang nodded, knowing that he had learned. A warrior's scars. Long ago, there was a fierce warrior named Kai who had fought in a brutal war that lasted for many years. He had seen death and destruction on the battlefield, and it had taken a toll on his soul. When the war ended, Kai returned to his village, hoping to find peace and solace. But instead, he found himself haunted by the ghosts of those he had killed. Every night, Kai would be visited by the spirits of his past, and he would wake up in a cold sweat, his heart pounding in his chest. He couldn't shake the feeling of guilt and shame that consumed him. He knew he needed help to overcome his demons, and so he went to the wise elder of the village. Please, wise elder, Kai said, falling to his knees before the old man. I am haunted by the ghosts of those I have killed. I can't sleep, and I can't find peace. Please tell me what I must do to overcome this. The wise elder looked at Kai with kind eyes, knowing the burden that weighed on the warrior's heart. You must confront the spirits of your past, the elder said. Only then can you find peace. But how can I do that? Kai asked, his voice trembling. Come with me, the elder said, standing up and leading Kai out of the village and into the nearby forest. They walked in silence for a while until they came to a clearing where there was a small stream running through it. The elder motioned for Kai to sit down beside him, and he began to speak. Listen closely, young warrior, the elder said. The spirits of those you have killed are not here to harm you. They are here to teach you a lesson, to help you find peace. You must be willing to listen to them, to hear their stories, and to understand their pain. Only then can you begin to heal. Kai nodded, his eyes fixed on the stream. I understand, he said softly. The elder nodded and then left Kai alone in the clearing. Kai closed his eyes and listened to the sound of the water rushing by. It was then that he felt a presence beside him. Who's there? He asked, his hand going to his sword hilt. It is I, said a soft voice. The spirit of a young boy who you killed in battle. Kai turned and saw the ghostly figure of a young boy standing before him. His heart filled with sorrow and regret as he remembered the battle where he had taken the boy's life. I am sorry, Kai said, his voice choked with emotion. The boy smiled sadly. I know, he said. That is why I am here, to help you find peace. The boy began to tell Kai his story, about his family, his dreams, and his hopes. Kai listened intently, tears streaming down his face. When the boy finished, he faded away, and another spirit took his place. One by one, Kai listened to the stories of the spirits he had killed. He heard about their lives, their loves, and their losses. He felt their pain and their sorrow, and he shared in their grief. And with each story, he felt a weight lifted from his soul. Finally, when the last spirit had spoken, Kai opened his eyes and saw that the sun was setting. He stood up and looked around the clearing, feeling a sense of peace that he had not felt in years. Thank you, he said softly, looking up at the sky. Thank you for showing me the way. From that day forward, Kai was a changed man. He no longer saw the spirits of his past, and he no longer felt the burden of guilt and shame. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notification, and leave a like. Until the next journey, thanks for watching.